There's an argument to be made that self-care is actually a selfless act. By putting yourself first, you are taking out an insurance policy that you will be at your best when the moment arises and you are called to take the action that you're here to take.
We're advocating for something that's good for kids, that is critical for this planet, our home. So we need to be brave and speak up and speak out and share those articles and share that information. We have the truth and justice on our side.
The science is out. We know that plant-based diets are better for us. We know that.
If you were on a desert island and there was just you and a pig and some other kind of weird, like, only exists in a meme scenario, great. I'm going to say this. You're in LA, you could eat literally anything. Why are you putting a dead animal in your mouth?
All around this great big world.
I was vegan 8 years before I knew that cows didn't just make milk. That's why I asked that question a couple times. When I asked my mom and stepdad and all these people that are in their 70s in Georgia and they didn't know, I'm like, how is it possible that all of us, most of us never knew this? Because I think most of us, if we knew they were taking babies away and killing boy babies in both of these egg and milk industry, I think we would really reconsider. So many vegetarians have come up and said, oh my God, I had no idea.
My partner in Compassion and I flew out to Seattle for a screening and Q&A where lots of yummy vegan food samples were provided for the audience. The screening was organized by our new friend Shawnee Jane, who introduced us to some of the sights and tastes of Seattle before we had to get back on the road for a screening in Portland, Oregon.
A lot of times I can't find my glasses and I can get very frustrated, but I quit being frustrated and I realize, oh my goodness, because every time that happens, I'll tell you, I guarantee you later that day, I'm gonna run into somebody that I never would have ran into if I'd have got out that door. And that person needed me so bad, or I needed them so bad, I'm like, oh my God, that was it. And we may not always make that connection, but it's happening every day.
I have a mantra, which is that the universe will conspire to support you if your heart is true. And I truly believe that now, more than ever, the world needs all of us to be more of who we truly are. And in order to really discover who we truly are, we have to get quiet with ourselves. Meditation, mindfulness practices, prayer, whatever shape or form that resonates for you, I think is the path towards that. And I think when you invest in that, you will discover that your heart has a particular song, that you have all the tools that you need to blossom into this beautiful, unique flower with its own unique expression and gifts to give to the world. The happiness that you seek, the fulfillment, the contentment, the sense of purpose all resides within you. It is this inner potential that I think we all have locked within us that is yearning to be expressed. And our life's purpose is discovering a way to connect with that and unleash it.
From Portland, we flew down to LA, and I had the opportunity and privilege to sit down with one of my vegan heroes, Rich Roll, who is a world-renowned ultra-endurance athlete, best-selling author, and popular podcast host.
I think we're in a culture right now where people feel disempowered, like they can't make a change, that their voice doesn't matter. And the truth is, we all have control over what we put in our body 3 times a day. And when you make that compassionate choice and you vote with your dollar by choosing those compassionate foods, those anti-cruelty foods, you are making a difference. And if you doubt that or question that, all you have to do is go to the grocery store and see how many plant milk alternatives there are now, how many vegan options there are, even at the most garden variety of grocery store chains. And that's because the people are waking up, the people are speaking, they are voting with their dollars, and you too have the power to make that change and take a stand and be part of the change that you want to see in the world.
I believe that school nutrition professionals, the vast majority, want to serve healthy meals and probably would be inclined to serve plant-based vegetarian meals. But they work on a tiny budget with USDA regulations. They've got to feed thousands of kids at lightning speed. They have a really difficult job. And I think if they could wave their magic wand, they would serve healthy lunches. Their challenge is to get kids to eat the healthy lunches, to choose the healthy lunches. So we can put policies in place, and I think it's important to do that. We got to get the kids to eat it. And so that's why I started Lean and Green Kids, because the education component right now, our primary nutrition educator is the Dairy Council. That elevates and highlights their products, their meat and dairy products, while downplaying the benefits of plant protein. And we're just a small operation. You know, I'm a mom on a mission. I'm going to be a grandma on a mission, hopefully, at some point. But we've got to educate the kids, and we've got to give them a reason, other than health, to make the shift. And I think that the key and the formula for getting kids to think about what food they eat is to let them know that when they choose plant protein, they save animals. Kids love animals. So we go into the classroom and we connect with them right away about what we love. We love nature and animals. And then we ask them to raise their hand if they love nature and animals too. And that's where we start. And where we end is when you choose plants for protein, you help save animals and the planet.
Susie and I really want students to leave here being sustainability natives. We want them to be fluid in the language of sustainability. We want them to have compassion about the earth. We want them to be compassionate about themselves, one another, and the planet. That's really important for us.
While we were in LA, Melody and I had the wonderful opportunity to tour the Muse School, an award-winning, sustainable, fully vegan, passion-based learning school co-founded by Susie Amos Cameron and her sister Rebecca Amos in 2006.
This is where they learn about having their voice and being able to say, I don't like what you just did, and I want to share how that made me feel, and then I want to tell you what I'm prepared to do if you won't change your behavior. I'm prepared to not play with you anymore. I'm prepared to not work with you in math centers anymore. But it's a way for them to really start being empowered, along with the passion-based learning and along with the compassionate confrontation. They just start owning their voice, you know. And I know as an adult, it's taken me, you know, all my years to figure out how to own my voice. So we're teaching them really young how to have a voice around that, how to have a voice around the environment. It's all about compassion. You know, it's all about really being compassionate about who we are as people, but then how do we spread that out? With our plant-based initiative and our 1 meal a day for the planet, that to me is also a self-compassion piece, because the children learn that not only are they taking care of the planet by eating that way, but they're also feeding their bodies in a very self-compassionate way. So we just teach them about all of these practices. And I think that as we take care of this beautiful land that we're on right now, they also learn how to take care of themselves in that. So to be able to be in this type of environment, we all feel better. And I think that also the kids know I feel better here in an environment where I can be me than I do in an environment where I'm having to sit and where I'm having to sit at a desk, or I'm having to learn something by memorization and then I don't even know it the next day. I think they're learning that this feels better, and to me that's self-compassion, especially as you get older, because you remember how that feels.
We're about to pass, well, we already got it through both the State Assembly and the Senate, a fur ban, as you're well aware, that now just is going to be on the governor's desk and he has to sign. Now, that was unimaginable a few years ago, but in 2014, we started a process in West Hollywood, and it kept going, and last year we passed it in Los Angeles, and now we're going to hit it at the state level.
As a special treat, we got to attend one of our favorite authors, Ruby Ruth's book signing and gallery retrospective, featuring 10 years of her art and activism. And Melody even got a signed copy of Ruby's latest book, Bad Day.
I've been vegan in war. I've been vegan in the desert. I've been vegan in the forest. I've been vegan hiking on the Appalachian Trail. I've been vegan in 47 countries. I've been vegan for 27 years. And I've never seen a reason to eat an animal. Now, during the zombie apocalypse, that'd be different.
While in the City of Angels, I had the pleasure of sitting down with fellow Army veteran Bill Muir, aka Sergeant Vegan, who served with the 173rd Airborne Brigade in Afghanistan. Sergeant Vegan is a combat veteran, registered nurse, and author of the books Vegan Strong and The Adventures of Sergeant Piggy.
I went straight edge and vegan because of this idea of trying to make the world a better place. I thought that the best way that I could contribute was to being a medic and saving lives. People would bring up that it's inconsistent with the point of the military is taking lives. My particular role, my training, and most of what I did was saving people. And even in Afghanistan, I worked at a clinic for locals. I would say a majority of the people that I saw were not people that we hurt, but were people that were hurt by the locals, like a woman whose husband hit her in the head with an axe because life is pretty cheap over there, or kids that fell into like a cooking fire, or kids that had some kind of awful disease that we will never see here, but because they don't have medical coverage over there, they have. And just like an infinite amount of awfulness that because we were there, we were able to help.
The afternoon before we headed back to Florida, we had the good fortune of attending the second annual Los Angeles Reggae Vegan Fest, a day-long live reggae concert featuring 100% vegan food, clothing, and other products. At the festival, we ran into our friend Dolly, the producer of the upcoming documentary, The Land of Ahimsa.
You know, your movie, The Land of Ahimsa, was inspired, I believe, right? By
Yes.
seeing Prayer for Compassion?
Yes, and Thomas Wade, shout out to you. He's helped me so much. He's a huge inspiration.
Hi, my name is Thomas Jackson, and I'm the director of A Prayer for Compassion, and I'm also a finalist in PETA's Sexiest Vegan Over 50 contest. And I'm here to tell you that not only is compassion great for your health and gives you more peace and more connection to all of life and to whatever spiritual or religious path you're on, and not only does it give you more access to your creativity and divine guidance, but compassion is sexy. So be sexy and go vegan.
I'm a veteran and I've been vegan for 14 years now, and I go to the VA to get my blood work done every year. And my VA doctor sits there and takes notes for 45 minutes when I tell her what I've been learning. And she says, I wish all my patients would choose plants over pills. You know, the more I learn to just be still and meditate. I never do a Q&A, I never do an interview, I never do a phone call, I never do switch gears between this and that without just stopping. And it's not some big mysterious meditation where I'm blissed out. It's just like clearing my mind. As soon as I do that, other thoughts that are pretty important that can't get through because of all the stimulation that goes on in our lives get through, and it's like that's how the film was made. Every step of the way was meditation.
I was 320 pounds, I'm 280 pounds now. I've only been vegan for 3 months. Already off 1 insulin, already off 2 on heart pills.
Wow. And what the health kind of shows you what we're up against. You know, when all of our diabetes associations and heart associations and all this are being funded by animal agriculture and pharmaceuticals. Mm-hmm. And they don't want you to be well, they want to find a way to keep selling you medicines and to make money off of it. Because as long as people profit off of health care and sick people, people want you to be sick. As long as they profit off of animals, they're going to treat, like, that's standard operating procedure. I didn't show you anything that's not just like, okay, if that had been a dog or a cat, those people would have been arrested. Yet in our culture, it's totally normalized to do this to other species that really are innocent, and it's unnecessary.
And we are sensitive beings, and when we eat this stuff, our souls know what those souls went through. We are so connected. You know why these animals are being hurt? Nobody wants to hurt animals because there's money involved, because they're a commodity. And guess what? And right now in this country, sick people are a commodity. People are making money off of sick people. You know, wow. Have anybody seen What the Health? If you haven't seen What the Health, it's on Netflix. The same people that made Cowspiracy. If you haven't seen Cowspiracy, see Cowspiracy, see What the Health.
Always brush your hair. I don't have a brush right now because my dad. So I'm just going to brush it with my fingers. This won't take long.
I went to the climate strike march, and I was told repeatedly to shut up. That's a direct quote. I was told by Jane Fonda, you be quiet. I was trying to get the word about animal agriculture's impact on climate change, along with some other incredible people, Paige, Parsons, Roache, various people who were there, holding up signs. In fact, one of the signs is right here. Can you give it to me? This was one of the signs that we tried to hold up. And we were told, put your signs down. They wanted to have oil company signs. They actually tried to push our signs away.
Basically what we are showing here is that if the world goes vegan, you can literally just release the grazing land back to nature. Because all that food is not necessary. All the food we need can be taken straight from cropland alone. If we just bring back the forests that used to be there on the grazing land, we can reverse climate change.
That's right.
My objective with Vegan Strong is to rebrand how people think of vegan. For too long, we were thought of as weak, skinny, hippies, or whatever other kind of negative thing that you can think of. Either we didn't smell right, we didn't eat good food, we were against the government, we looked strange, we were weak, all this negative stuff. Unfortunately, some of that probably came from vegans themselves, because you probably know a crazy vegan that's like that. However, as we move this whole thing into the mainstream, I believe you'll see that less and less of us are like that. More and more of us are just people that care about the planet, we care about our health, we care about animals, and that's all it is to be vegan.
I'm probably the hippie he's talking about. You know? I want to get this because I interviewed Sergeant Vegan in LA for the new film, and he said a lot about hippies, and I couldn't interrupt him while during the interview, but I wanted to say, dude, man, you know, the whole reason I'm vegan is for spiritual reasons. You know, it happened naturally, and it's documented in the film. Growing up in the South, I saw the people do it. My grandma wrung the neck of a chicken, you know. My dad would go fishing, and, you know, I mean, they have murdered these animals. Why? Because they thought it was necessary, because they thought it was normal, and they thought it was what we always done. And I remember as a little boy watching my dad do that and thinking, one day I'm going to have to suck it up and do this, because that's what it is. To be a grown person is to do things you don't like to do, and some of it's going to be cruelty and killing.